Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of STAFG. As always, I want to refresh you on the rules. There are 10 questions and each question is worth a fixed amount of money. First grade is worth $500, second grade is worth $1,000, third grade is worth $2,500, fourth grade is worth $3,500, and fifth grade is worth $5,000. Answer the question correctly, you get the money. If not, you lose it all. So let's try not to lose any questions, huh? And it's not getting any funnier. Now there are 3 cheats to the game: peek, copy, and save, but you can only use them once. So let's jump into the game. So the first question I chose was animal science, and I chose David to help us with that one. And the question was, what do you call like a crab's shell? And it was either exostructural, endoskeleton, exoskeleton, or endostructural. I did not record this for some reason, and I chose exostructural. That was wrong, and when we had the save triggered, he chose exoskeleton, and that was wrong. So we didn't win any money out of that. I blanked on the answer because I was jotting down notes, and I think the answer was endostructural, so we got no money out of that. Sorry. So the next subject I chose is U.S. geography, and the question is, which kind of disaster are you likely to find in the Pacific Southwest? And it's either tornado, winter storm, hurricane, or earthquake. Now the Pacific Southwest, that is... So the Pacific is where California is. Southwest is about Southern California, Arizona, around that area. You won't find a winter storm there. I mean, you can find winter storms in California, but that's up in the mountains. Tornadoes are very unlikely out there in that region. Hurricanes, they're especially rare to happen. I watch a lot of news, but since California is by a tectonic plate, there's something called the Ring of Fire, and that's where like a lot of volcanoes would erupt, and since the United States is on its own tectonic plate and the Pacific is on its own tectonic plate, they'd be shifting all the time. And along that Ring of Fire, not only is there like volcanoes erupting, there's also earthquakes. So I'm going to go with earthquake, because that's more likely. And that's right. In the Pacific Southwest, 2 tectonic plates push against each other, causing earthquakes. So that's pretty good. So the next subject I chose is music, and the question is, what term best describes a traditional music performance at the end of a concert? What term best describes an additional music performance at the end of a concert? And it's either encore, rehearsal, repetition, or round. I know this one straight off my head. It's encore. Because when people call out encore, they want another song, or they want something else. Because the actors or the casting or the cast or whatever, they played real well, and they want to hear another song. So I'm going to go with encore. And it's right. An encore is a French word meaning again. Nice. So I chose Jules to help us with the next 2 subjects, and one of her favorite subjects is world geography. And the question is, the Earth is divided into how many primary time zones? And it's either 12, 48, 36, or 24. Oh, I learned a little bit about time zones, but I didn't learn about all of them. If I can remember correctly, the the eastern side of the United States, like where New York down to Florida is, around by the Atlantic Ocean, that is, I think, Eastern time. And then when you get into, I think, like Louisiana and Mississippi, and then you get up to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, to, I think, Indiana, that time zone is called Central Time Zone. So I definitely live in the Central Time Zone. And then I think from like North Dakota to, I think, Montana, Texas to, I think, New Mexico, that's Mountain Time. And then the Pacific side, I think that's the Western Time Zone. Or no, not Western, that's Pacific Time Zone, I'm sorry. And then up in Alaska, I think they have their own time zone. I think that's like an Alaskan time zone. And then Hawaii has its own time zone. I think that's like the Hawaiian time zone. So I'm not sure if there's a time zone between the Pacific and the Alaskan time zone. I kind of doubt it. So let's see, there's Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific, Alaskan, Hawaiian. Yeah, it's about 6 time zones. And I think for the entire Western Hemisphere, I think there's at least 12 different time zones. And then you add the Eastern time zone, that's another 12 time zones. So I'm thinking, that's a lot, but I think I'm gonna go with 24. Could be wrong. Oh, right, it is right. Each time zone is 15 degrees. Some countries also use offset time zones, which modify the local time by half hours. And some of you may not know this. I mean, if you live up in like the Central Time Zone or something, or someplace in Wisconsin, I mean, I learned in school that the time change for the Central Time Zone to the Western Time Zone, I think, no, not Western, the Eastern Time Zone, the change for Central and Eastern Time Zone change happens outside of Ironwood, so it's quite local where I live. So another one of Jules' favorite subjects is languages, and the question is, what is a common pronunciation of the French letter D? Ooh, I don't know any French. It's either day, die, D, or duh. In our cultural language, we kind of have D as a duh sound, and in some cases it could sound like differently, but I don't know any French, so it's gonna be quite interesting. Day, die, D, or duh. That sounds kind of funny, but all jokes aside, I don't really know any French, and we use up our save for useless reasons. I could take a peek at her answer. I have a feeling I want to do that. As long as we aren't desperate yet, I'm going to take a peek. And what does Jules say? Day. She says day. It can't happen 2 times in a row, can it? I kind of doubt it. If it does, I'm going to be very surprised. And I think I'm going to go with day. And it is right! Nice. Although the French language came up from Latin languages, the people of France are the most diverse group in Europe. Nice. So the next subject I chose is drama, And it's a true or false question. Yes, we haven't had those in a long time. Something I can actually deal with. And the question is, true or false, lights can be given a different color using something called a gel. I never heard anything about that before. Oh, we work so hard. I'm not gonna get a save. This isn't one of her favorite subjects either, so we're kind of left on our own here. Lights can be given a different color using something called gel. Wouldn't that... Well, technology is so advanced nowadays. I would think that since the little light bulb thing on a string of lights is like electricity. There's like a little wire between two wires, and then there's a little squiggly wire that runs between them, and that makes the light come on and everything. And I would think that part would be deep inside the light bulb, so that way I think that way yeah, there should be a gel or something in there that should change color. It could be because of temperatures. I have no idea. I never pondered on this kind of question before. I think I might go with true. So, bear with me. I'm gonna go with true. Alright! Gels are usually clipped in front of the light so they can be changed out quickly. Nice! That's pretty good for something I don't know. So I chose John to help us, and one of his favorite subjects is physical science, and it's another true and false question. And the question is, the human eye is concave, which allows it to optically refract light. There's like an experiment you can do. I mean, if you do it in the bathroom mirror, or if you're with someone, turn off, if you go into like a dark, if you go into like a bedroom or something, if there's windows in there, you can like close the curtain or whatever. But if your friend stands by the light switch and you're standing in front of your friend, you turn the light switch off, and I think it's called the pupil, the black part of your eye, the iris around it, the color part of the eye, which could be blue, green, brown, whatever. The iris kind of, the pupil kind of expands because your eye is trying to take in more light. So if you're in a dark place, the pupil will gradually grow bigger, so that way you can take in more light since it's so dim and dark. But then when you turn the light back on, your friend can quickly see that the pupil quickly expands and shrinks back down, because the iris it expands because it's taking in more light, and you can already see better. And in some instances, like when you're in a dark room for a while and someone just turns on the light, it does hurt your eye. I never had that problem, so I know a lot of my classmates have that problem. But is it concave? I think concave is I think convex is kind of pointed, and then concave is kind of dipped in. I don't think your eye is really dipped in. I think it's convex. I could be wrong, but I think I'm gonna go with false on this one. Alright! A human lens is convex, with a refractive power equal to about 1/4 of the eye's total power. Nice! I figured that's what it was. So another one of his favorite subjects is social studies, and it's another true and false question. And the question is, in a United States presidential election, each person's vote goes directly to who becomes president. And I know this one because I took civics class, because it takes a long time to count up every single person's vote. So what they do is, I think for each district, they count up how many votes, and I think they send that to an electoral college, and that electoral college totals up, like, each state is worth so many electoral votes, and like, for example, Wisconsin's electoral votes is equal to 7 because of 7 districts, or yada yada yada, and then another state's electoral votes could be up to 10 or something. And let's say New York. New York has 10 electoral votes. Wisconsin has 7. It doesn't. And for when someone is going to be elected, the electoral votes is based on the majority of who they voted for. So, Wisconsin chose Mitt Romney for their presidential candidate for the electoral votes, and then New York chose Barack Obama. So, each person's vote goes directly to who becomes president. That's kind of false, because that's all about electoral votes. But it's right. The U.S. voters actually choose a body of electors in each state, who then elect the president and vice president. So kind of the same thing, yeah. So that's pretty good. So let's see. We're getting down to like about the last 2 subjects, and one of the subjects I chose is science, and the question is, which of the following is not something an animal uses to survive? It's either luck, behavior, body, or location. I'm gonna go with luck, because behavior is kind of like if they're angry or sad or something, that's more of like a behavior thing. If an animal has to use its body, it's kind of using it as like a shield or something. It's kind of like using it as a shield, or at least somewhat like a projectile almost. Like with the moose, because it has like big antlers and it charges forward, and since it's kind of like a projectile, because while it's charging forward, it's kind of propelling itself at the same time. And location, like depending on the location, like if you're in a river or something, a good defense mechanism would probably to drown the predator. Luck has nothing to do with it. Not at all. An animal might be lucky, but it's not under that animal's control. So the last subject is vocabulary. 5th grade vocabulary, and I saved that for last. And the question is, which of the following words means showing great wisdom? And I'm gonna butcher these words up because I don't even know how to pronounce them. It's either sentient, sanguine, sapient, or sibilant. I honestly don't know. I'm on my own for this one. Sibilant. I have a feeling that sibilant is the right one, but showing great wisdom, sapient, sanguine. This is going to be a shot out of the dark, and I highly doubt it's going to be right. I'm going to go with sibilant, possibly. Sentient. Yeah, I'm gonna go with sibilant. See how that goes. Sapient was the right one. Yeah, we're not going to the bonus round, are we? Nope. Well, I guess that's gonna be it. I got a C minus again. But yeah, my name's Rebecca, aka the one Happiney, and I guess I am not smarter than a 5th grader. See ya.